Hello and welcome to Center Stage, where the lights are shining brightly today on Michael Christopherson. Welcome, Michael.
Good morning.
This program is just an opportunity for us to get to know Michael a little bit better and some of our other staff members in the Sioux Falls School District, some of your job responsibilities, some of those things that make Michael Michael. And so we'll spend the next half hour just chit-chatting a little bit about your role, and we'll get started. So
Wonderful.
Tell us about Michael Christopherson. You are now Director of
Information and Technology Services.
ITS, Director of ITS, right here with us today.
Yeah.
So
Well, appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So you joined the Sioux Falls School District in July of 2016. Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Sure. No, I'm an educator by trade, and if I go a little bit farther back in history, I started my role as an ag educator. Taught agriculture education. I taught shop classes, anything welding to automotive.
Wait a minute, shop classes. Do we still have
all the
fingers?
digits.
All right,
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think I found that role. I wasn't sure coming out of high school exactly what I wanted to do, but Mom was an educator. She was a fourth grade teacher. Dad was a farmer, and so I kind of chose the middle of the road there. Kind of took a little of each, and went to SDSU for my undergrad.
Go Jacks.
And got that degree and found my first teaching job in Beersford.
Okay.
Taught for 6 years there while I was getting my master's degree from Dakota State University in educational technology. With that role, I made a nice transition with a retirement there to Beersford, from teaching to technology director of Beersford School District.
Sure.
Was there for 3 years before I moved to Harrisburg and was their technology director for the next 7 years.
Okay. So you just continue to move north, a little bit
Continually
further north.
Yep, until I found the sweet spot here.
Okay, there you go. Well, we're glad to have you in Sioux Falls. I'm guessing it's quite a bit different from your first role in technology down in Beersford in just terms of size. You know, that being a smaller school district, pretty common sized school district in South Dakota, I would say. Yeah. But then Harrisburg, obviously their growth has significantly increased in the last couple of years, which means their number of devices has increased over time. And then you come to Sioux Falls and it's a whole new ball game again, I would imagine.
It is. It's a big ship, and that's kind of the way I look at it. You know, to change things and do things is just a little more coordination and a lot more staff involved here, and a lot more devices, like you mentioned. There is a lot of devices here to manage.
So do we have a number of devices that is on the tip of your tongue, or is that not something we can keep track of on a regular basis?
Yeah, to say the exact amount is hard, but we are one-to-one with Chromebooks, grades 3 through 12. So right there, you talk about roughly between all of our devices that we have in Chromebooks, 18,000 devices just in those kind of devices.
Right.
K2, we have an implementation of iPads where typically we see about 8 devices per classroom.
So, and all of those classrooms, if you think of your child's school or the school that's nearest to your home, all of those classrooms, and in some cases we have elementary schools that have 800 students in them. So if you think of the number of classrooms inside that building and 8 iPads per classroom, that adds up very quickly too.
It does, and then we also manage a lot of Windows devices on top of that for some different labs environments and teacher workstations, and a lot of different platforms, and making sure that we're keeping all those secure, and that we're making sure that blocking sites, and there's a lot that goes on in that environment.
Right. So talking about, you know, making, we try to teach students about, you know, keeping safe while out on the internet, and how their footprint can stay with them for a number of years over time. That's part of something we teach in terms of computer and cybersecurity and technology know-how. There's also a very complex system that makes sure that students are not able to access sites they shouldn't be able to access in a school setting. So there's
Yeah, definitely, and I'm glad you brought up the idea of that digital citizenship, you know, teaching the students, teaching our staff what things are out there, and also letting them know the best practices that they should do as they use those devices.
Right, so yes, we have technology teachers in the classroom, computer science courses and things like that. But you're the guy kind of making sure the wrench is turned to make sure this is open, that's closed. I know that's not the right term.
Correct. And that's not me, but just a wonderful department behind that we work together and kind of use all those great minds to help secure things and work in the back end. We do work closely with the state, the BIT, Bureau of Information Technology, to make sure our systems are secure. They do provide us a lot of resources as well.
Right, so it's a complex system. It has to be. We're still probably in the infant stages of technology if you look over time and kind of where that's going to lead us. Any predictions on your part about where we're headed?
Yeah, it's definitely changing. That's the biggest thing. Every day it changes, and just trying to keep up with that. What that looks like, good question, because it changes so fast, whether that be the device type or what's out there on the internet for resources. We definitely see a lot more digital curriculum in our environments now, but definitely a changing, I think about just positions and staff. You know, a lot of jobs in technology, whether it be in the school district or outside, some of those positions weren't created 10 years ago. These are all new positions, and some of the stats out there on what they're looking for additional positions in technology aren't even created yet.
Right.
And we worry about the workforce that we'd have for that opportunity.
Right. That is something that we've, said a number of times over the years is, our mission statement is to educate and prepare each student to succeed in a changing world. Gosh, that sounds simple, except we're educating kids now for jobs that don't exist yet.
Correct.
And so, they'll be with us maybe as a freshman. They'll be with us for 4 years. They'll go to college, and the job they may have, those kids who are freshmen now, the job they may have in 10 years after college, we don't even know what that is yet. So it's creating minds that are analytical and problem solvers and that type of thing that is so critical.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll need those resources in the future for sure.
Yeah.
So how did you come about your interest in technology? Have you always been sort of a person that dabbles in that kind of thing, taking stuff apart, putting it back together, or where did your love for technology come from?
Sure, that's a great question. It actually probably drove most when I started teaching in Beersford. Even before I taught one day in the classroom, they provided me the opportunity with the statewide TTL programs that I was able to take that right in Beersford. They hosted that, and I was able to develop my first website for my class and really strive to have great technology in my classroom through that program. And I think that's where it started. But then even more, I was able to take advantage of some of the grant opportunities I wrote for technology in my classroom through a lot of the state-funded grant and the Carl Perkins dollars for career and technical education. I got my own set of laptops, and that was early on in 2002, and had those available in my classroom. So I think that really drove what I wanted to do with technology in my classroom. And I could see how technology integrated was so efficient in my classroom, and how the kids learned with that, and how we're working with a different group of kids that they're digital natives. They know this stuff and they rely on it. So I could see the effect of how technology played in the classroom clear back then, and that's why it drove me to get my master's degree and really get involved in technology, especially as it relates to classroom environment and in schools.
Well, and your love of, as you said, your dad is a farmer, and technology now in farming is so amazing. GPS on our big equipment and things like that. I mean, technology is really changing farming in that respect too.
It is. I think agriculture relies heavily on technology. It's funny you mention that, because one of my grant proposals was related on a GPS system where we simulated what a farmer would be doing out in the field for different methods of practicing trying to get the soil at the right areas, precision farming type applications. So we just kind of simulated a small thing by getting a set of GPSs for our classroom to kind of map out soil tests, and we'd test soils. So yeah, it's the same, and only things to automate tractors in fields. It's just amazing.
Crazy how much that has influenced agriculture over time. And
It has.
you know, we hear a lot about agriculture, and yes, it's still lifeblood of South Dakota, although the number of farmers decreasing, and your dad being a farmer, my dad being a farmer, and you know, in terms of trying to that's a whole new world for my dad, who's 69, who gets, you know, he needs a new tractor, but oh my gosh, look at all these buttons. What do I do?
Yeah.
It's not as mechanical as it used to be.
Yep.
There's quite a bit of know-how.
Probably a lot
required.
of jobs were created just around that, you know, being able
Right.
to run technology for the ag community.
Absolutely. So very much drives what we do in the classroom. Also literally drives things out in the agricultural world as well.
Definitely.
And so pretty amazing and a great expansive opportunity, I guess. Technology can pretty much, obviously in the medical community, there's significant need for technology and that know-how in so many different facets. So
Yep.
in terms of Michael and his home life, I know Michael has a busy life outside of his very busy work schedule.
Sure.
You have 3 kiddos.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about your family.
Sure. And just getting off the topic of technology in the medical field, that's actually my wife, Karina. She works for Sanford Health in the technology field. So it's played
go.
right in there. We're perfect. Yeah, she's.
I don't think I knew that, but gosh,
You
it sounded
nailed
like
that
I
one.
did.
Yep, led me into that one. So she works for Sanford Health in that capacity.
Sure.
We had our first child, Caitlin. She's 9 now, and in 4th grade.
Okay.
So she brings a lot of excitement to our life. She's into soccer and music, and she was selected for the state elementary honors choir. So
Oh,
that was
very
exciting
nice.
for us, and
Very
she'll be doing
nice.
that in February. My middle child, also daughter, Emily. She's a go-getter too, soccer and activity.
Middle child, she's got to be a go-getter.
Yeah, I know. As am I, a middle child.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so and then my baby boy Jace just turned 2 in December, so we have a little mix in the family now
Absolutely.
to keep us going. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
they're
are
joy.
they into technology as well?
Oh yeah, they are into technology. They love their devices, and you know, we try to limit our screen time, but yet provide them educational opportunities on those devices because there is great value there.
Right. Yeah, there are a lot of great apps and a lot of great tools for kids, and you know, it can keep them busy, but it also can keep them learning as well. So as long as you're selecting the right types of things.
Definitely.
Beyond that, I know you have another significant love in your life, and it's a baseball team.
It is. I'm a huge Chicago Cubs fan, and it's a great year to be a Chicago Cubs fan. Growing up, I was a young kid, probably 4 years old, and I would watch WGN because that was all that was available in Little Miller, South Dakota for me to watch for baseball. So it was either the Cubs or the Braves because TBS had the Braves.
Okay.
And I went with the Cubs because I had the love for Harry Carey. And
Okay.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Holy cow, fans!
So you heard that over time, and that
Yeah,
just
it
reeled you
stuck.
in.
Yeah, and it was a great opportunity to see them finally win after 108 years this year, that World Series, in an exciting World Series.
Right.
too.
Yeah, it wasn't just a gimme in the end, game 7 gimme
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So you followed that very closely. Is your whole family a Cubs family?
By default now.
Yeah,
They
okay.
never were, but since Dad is, they
Oh,
are
okay.
obligated to that. They don't have to like the basketball college teams I do, but the Cubs, they have to like the Cubs.
This is a rule
Until
in
they
the
leave my house.
Christopherson house. Very good. So those games and that were going on in the World Series, we had an opportunity to be on a work experience at that time, and you were just glued to the TV. Did our work during the day, but in the evenings you were pretty much watching those games very closely.
Yep, it was a very nice experience to be able to share that with all of you, and especially Deb Mullenberg Wilson,
Yeah.
another true Cubs fan, you know, that we were rooting together.
Right. Good experiences. Talking about that, we met in Kansas City with some other school districts of like size, and great experience to communicate with the other IT professionals in these other school districts from across the Midwest. I met with the communication folks. Our superintendent met with the superintendents, just to be able to share information and really see, okay, what's effective, what's working well in your district, what can we bring and share with you so that you can learn. You've stayed quite connected with that group since that time. What sort of value has that brought to your position?
Yeah, it was a great experience, that benchmarking consortium with that, just the data that was available, and we dug into that to see what goes well, how we can influence things. That part was good. But just sharing our experiences and what things are out there that we can use as resources for our district from a technology standpoint. Is there things that we don't see with other schools in the state being so much smaller than us maybe? This gave us an opportunity to see how bigger environments or similar size environments are doing things, and maybe it gave us some ideas. That aha moment, I think, was very good, and then I think we provided them some of those aha moments, and it's just that sharing resources and how you make things work.
Right. So what do you think Sioux Falls is doing extremely well on in terms of technology and its uses? Are we a leader in one particular area that you notice?
Sure, and I think we are a leader in a lot of areas, but definitely with our one-to-one program that we make those available to students on a regular basis. They're comfortable with the devices. It's used in a lot of our curricular areas now. But then also when we look at this time of year, when we're getting into assessments, whether it be the WIDA testing, the Smarter Balance testing, that student's comfortable with the device because they've had it all year long. They can utilize it at its capacities, and they don't worry about maybe some other schools get on that device and they're not comfortable with it to take that test. I think they're very comfortable at that point with the device and they're familiar. That makes maybe the assessment part of that less worrisome. They could come in with a comfortable level.
Right. So I know my oldest daughter has a device, that she's using, the Chromebook, that type of thing. And it's crazy how, you and I open it and, well, you, I'm sure not, but me, I open it and, okay, I have to get my bearings and, go from here. And they're just getting to where they need to go. They know all about the functions of Word, of Excel, of all of these other programs, and they know how to maximize and really use it as a tool for their learning, and not just, okay, I'm going to sit down and master this computer. They're mastering the curriculum.
It is.
Through the use of computer.
Yeah, I think we've got a great staff that's helped teach that. Our classroom teachers do a great job of integrating that, not having technology be an end itself, but really it's integrated into what they're doing already and maximizing that curriculum at that point.
Of course, when we put all of these devices into the hands of our students, sometimes they happen to get dropped.
Yep, that is part of it.
That is part of it. The repair, we take care of all the repairs, or most of the repairs anyway.
Correct. We do a lot of in-house, and kind of our go-to on that, Carolyn. We really rely on that.
She is amazing.
Yep, and can do anything from screen repairs on iPads to our BCS staff help with Chromebooks, repairing those. And
BCS, you have to tell me.
Sure.
Building Computer Specialists.
Yep, are out there getting those prepared and helping Carolyn's with some of those repairs as well. So it's been.
And that's a significant task.
When you have as many devices as we do, yes, that is a large volume.
Ongoing task. I know I took a flash drive to Carolyn. It literally fell apart, and it had some very crucial information on this flash drive, and she performed this surgery and all of my information, she's gonna have to repair this too now. All of my information just like that was back.
It's a good
and
feeling.
So it's amazing to have people that are that skilled. And that, I think, is something the Sioux Falls School District can really put a flag in its cap about too.
Yeah.
Is we have some really amazing experts that are
We are
available.
very fortunate, that's for sure. We have our own development team that a lot of schools don't have the opportunity to have, so we develop our in-house programs as well, not only for the day-to-day stuff that all teachers use, but also from an HR perspective and finance, we support all those systems internally with our support staff. And I definitely think we're leading edge on a lot of those opportunities on things we do as a district.
Yeah. So you must have a staff of like 500 or so.
Not quite.
No?
Closer to that 30 mark.
Oh,
but
30.
Yeah,
Okay.
not quite.
Well, how do you manage to make that all happen? I mean, it seems like people probably have their major role, but there's a lot of assisting and helping along the way.
Correct. A lot of teamwork. Not only do I wear a lot of hats, but those staff members have to wear a lot of hats in order to get this done. A lot of organization, communication has to take place so that we are a well-oiled running machine.
Right. So not only that, but you also oversee student records?
Correct, yep. So the information part and the record system is also out at Central Services with us. We do a lot of the online registration is held in our department. That's a big process now that we provide another piece of technology to get information into our system. But all the records that we transfer for students moving in and out of the district happens at that level too.
Right, and we have lots of movement, some schools more than other, but
Correct.
a lot of information sharing that has to happen with other school districts and collection of student records
Yep.
from those other school districts as
Yep.
well.
In and out, and we have to always regulate our laws and regulations on that too, so that becomes a process as well.
Right, and probably an unknown area of the school district, the print shop. We, even with all this technology, we still need printed material, although we've changed that, or that's morphed over time as well, but that's kind of another area that maybe people don't think about.
Sure, yeah, the centralized printing, anytime you can buy those heavier duty industrial machines, a lot of times you get those at cost savings per page. And we do some centralized things where we provide bindings and special effects cuttings and pamphlets that our print shop does for the entire district.
Right, so when you're a district the size that we are, which is over 24,000 students, 3,300 staff members, there's a lot of, even though we're in this technology age, there's still the necessity of papers and actually collateral materials that are needed in order.
Correct. Yeah, we still print even though we're one-to-one on a lot of those devices, but definitely I'm sure the printing has came down with those devices and the shared atmosphere of being able to collaborate on Google Docs and things. Right. There's not as much printed, but there's still a lot printed.
Still a necessity in our ever-changing world, but still that paper is kind of like libraries. It's just never going to go away.
Exactly.
I mean, your books are never going to, yes, you can get them on your Kindle and all of your other devices, but those books are never going to go away either. So, well, any final thoughts from Michael Christopherson? It's great to have you in Sioux Falls. Been an okay journey so far. I know you have to work with me, which is a challenge sometimes.
So far, so good. I don't see any problems with that. I enjoy our ability to work together on different projects already.
Good.
So it's been about just over 6 months now. I'm getting more acclimated to the job, so it's not as big a learning curve anymore. But like I said in one of my speeches, it's kind of the World Series of jobs for me. It's a great opportunity to work with a lot of individuals and affect a lot of people's lives, and is my hope. So
wonderful. The Cubs did it for you.
Yep.
And now Michael's got the World Series job, and so go, Michael. We'll have to get you a big pennant or something like that to wave. Right. So, all right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed our half hour's time here with Michael Christopherson, our Director of Information Technology Services. Certainly great to have you on board, and you're always learning and always looking for the new latest information. So that's a great piece to have in our district, and making sure that we're heading in the right direction. So
Very
thanks,
good.
Michael.
Thanks, Deanne.
Thanks for joining us on Center Stage.